a couple injury stuff. Massey and Bowles and Chubb this week.
Bradley's going to practice today. Okay, so we're starting the clock on him, and we'll see where it goes. Who was the other one?
Massey and Bowles.
Garrett is actually going to go on the COVID list today, so he's going to have 2 negative tests in consecutive days. And Bobby's got a chance.
And then Bryce Callahan, is he eligible this week, or is it 3 games that he has to sit out?
Three games.
Okay. Well, you think he'll be ready when he's eligible?
He's had a good rehab. I think it's too early to say that, though.
Did you have any other COVID issues?
No.
How's Baron Browning's back?
He's not going to practice today, but we're anticipating him practicing on Wednesday.
So Bowles would be vaccinated then with 2 tests, he'd be eligible to return?
Correct.
On the receivers, got their deals done. I'll start with Tim. Coming out of nowhere, how much pride do you take in?
Well, I'm just really happy for Tim. You know, he's the type of player every team wants. He's tough, he's competitive, he's prideful, he's all about the team. And it was great that we rewarded him for that. I thought George and Rich in particular did a great job getting these deals done.
And then with Courtland, I guess it maybe seemed inevitable, but then some people, because his production maybe wasn't exactly where it was his Pro Bowl year, weren't sure. So I guess what it mean to see him get his deal done? No, he'll be around.
Yeah, it's great for Courtland too. I mean, obviously Courtland's production and play since he's been here speaks for itself, and we think he's going to continue to improve, both as he plays more, both from just experience and getting over his injury from last year.
How difficult is it from a defensive coordinator standpoint to prepare for 2 big guys on the outside and Courtland and him?
Yeah, I mean, size is always an advantage if you can run, and these guys are big and can run. So it's a good combination, and they're good at the 50-50 balls, and they both do a good job running after the catch. So they're both willing and able blockers in the run game. So we like them, and we're glad to have them.
How much a part of keeping them both was who they are, like the way they work in the locker room, like aside from the production? How much was that part of it?
Definitely played a part in it. You know, you want guys that are all about the team, and those 2 guys are all about the team besides being great players.
Because you had time after the bye to assess everything, and you look at first drives for the offense, what do you think is some of the biggest issues that's kind of keeping you guys from getting the start you want?
Well, every week it's something different, but basically we haven't run it or thrown it well enough in those first drives to get them going. We've had, a few too many 3-and-outs in those situations, and we need to start better. There's no doubt about that.
Back in the spring when Justin Shelby re-signed, they talked about George and how that was a vote of confidence and re-signing guys and rewarding guys that have worked hard and stayed in the organization. Do you feel that was the same with these 2 signings as well?
Absolutely. These are 2 great guys, great teammates, and those are the type of players you want to reward.
Can that provide motivation for younger guys still on their first contract?
I'm sure it can. Yeah, obviously. Guys want to be here. They like playing for the Broncos, and it's a win-win for everybody.
When you come off a bye, you guys do like the self-scouting. Any changes, significant changes on the depth chart? Any positions after having time to look at the film? Any positions up for grabs?
No, just because a lot of that has happened throughout the injuries and the COVID stuff. So nothing major along those lines.
Chubb coming back, is it going to be a really conservative approach with him in practice, or how are you going to kind of handle that these next few weeks?
Yeah, it'll be conservative. He's going to do some individual today. If that goes good, he'll grab a handful of plays in practice. If not today, then we'll see where he's at Wednesday. But it'll be a logical, conservative progression.
What do you make of this division? You start off on a 5-year last 7 against division teams. What stands out about the 3 teams you're going to have to beat?
Well, all 3 of them are really good teams. I mean, you saw them yesterday. It's a quarterback-heavy division with the other 3 teams, obviously. Good offenses, good defenses. You know, Kansas City's playing really good defense now. The Chargers are. The Raiders have stepped it up defensively. So I see complete teams that are led by really good quarterbacks.
How much
Staley
did,
in particular, when you interviewed him way back, when you interview a young coach, do you get a feel for he might really go places, or is that story to be told when you're talking to him?
Yeah, I don't think like when I interviewed him, in the spring of 2000 or the fall, winter of 2018. So how long ago is that? Yeah, I knew he had the good ability to be a really good coach. For me to predict that he would be a head coach 4 years later, I didn't predict that, but I knew Brandon had special abilities as a coach. He had a really good understanding of the game on both sides of the ball, and was really happy to hire him, and thought he would progress very well, and he did.
What attracts you to a young coach when you're talking to him?
It's just kind of a feel thing, I like to let them do a lot of the talking rather than me asking a ton of questions, and just how they would be as a teacher, teaching their position, kind of do it that way, and then take it off, let it take off from there.
Ojemudia off the COVID list, but still on IR. Where's he kind of at in his progression?
Yeah, I think we're going to start him up this week, too, on his practice.
Okay.
You said a couple weeks ago the Chargers are calling their defense differently than what you are. What has sort of been Brandon's stamp on the scheme he brought there?
Well, it's a very similar scheme. When I say they're calling it different, they're utilizing different parts of it more. That's all. That's what I meant.
like, how much did you actually get away from football and not watch football?
I didn't watch too much on Saturday. I did watch some yesterday. Obviously, watched the Charger game last night, and had a game on in the afternoon when I was here working. Just had it on with the voice off, just to glance over and look at it. So I did. I saw some.
As you reviewed on the self-scout stuff, as you reviewed your defense, what was the number one thing that stood out that has to get better?
Well, we need to be more consistent, obviously stopping the run. We've played some good running teams of late. We've struggled with that at different points in the season. Some points it's been good, some not so. I mean, obviously our last game against Philly, it wasn't good enough. And then Philly went out against the number one ranked run defense in the league, both in yards and per carry average, and they basically did the same thing to them yesterday. So a lot of times you just have to give the other team credit. You don't like to, but that's what we need to do better.
How much would Chubb help in the run game, setting the edge?
Bradley's a complete player, run and pass. And when you can have complete players out there, that obviously would be a major help.
Also, is Coach Shermer back in the building?
He is.
So he's full clear to coach?
Yes. Today was the first day.
The Chargers, they've gone for a ton on fourth down. Is there a way to prepare for that, and what sort of advantage can that be if you're able to get some of those stops?
Yeah, it's basically just another, whatever the distance is, it's like a third down, but if they don't get it, you throw a ball right there. And they have been aggressive to do it. We've done it a fair amount, and would have done it some more, but, too many of the fourth downs were too long. But, no, they've been aggressive with it. They did it last night. Didn't work, but it was the right move. I would have done the same thing. And obviously they feel good about it. And then big part of it, too, is because of their quarterback.
That's what I was going to ask you. With Herbert, what jump have you seen him make from year one to year two?
I thought the guy was really good last year. I hadn't seen a guy coming from that was a so-called college system, a lot of the spread stuff. Nobody kind of knew how he would do, and he made a tremendous adjustment and adaptation to the NFL last year. I thought their coaching staff last year did a great job with him, and the coaching staff this year has just taken him to a new level, and he's really, really good. He throws the ball extremely well. He's got a big arm, but he throws with touch. He throws a very catchable ball. Obviously, he's big, so he's hard to get down. Obviously, he's athletic and fast. You saw him run for almost 100 yards last night on scrambles, so he's a complete quarterback.
The Chargers have the fifth best pass defense in the NFL. What type of things have you seen that they do that
makes them so effective?
Yeah, they do a lot of things out of a two shell look to try and disguise their intentions pre-snap, and they do a good job with that. They have a good pass rush led by Bosa. He's a really good pass rusher, as we all know, and I think it's a combination of rush and coverage disguise.
With Bradley, how have you seen him deal with this latest adversity, injury, hiccup, just mentally and approaching it?
Yeah, I think, he was frustrated early on, especially because it was basically the same injury he had in the other ankle just a couple months later. So it was frustrating for him. He's had ups and downs in his rehab. He's had days where he felt great and days not so. But he's put together, I think in the last week or so, he's had a bunch of good days in a row, and I think he's anxious to give it a go today and see where he's at.
Where do you want to see Tim and Courtland improve the most, take the biggest step for the rest of this season?
Just to keep improving. I don't think either one of them has great deficiencies. A little bit more exact route running. Always continue to do a great job running after the catch. I don't see a glaring weakness to answer your question. I'd be making one up.
Thank you very much, Coach.
All right.